thepascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal.
What's up, everybody? We are here to talk about a few things. Again, Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, or Betsy Hackman. This has been a very tragic, heartbreaking series of information that has come out in this recent press conference that we looked at yesterday. And now we know a full scope of what actually happened here. But one thing, the reason why I wanted to go and bring this video up and talk to you guys about this is because there's been a lot of people out here feeling like this is all a cover up, some sort of cover up by police. And the thing is I guess my main question is, what makes people think that there is a cover up by police? Now, don't get me wrong. Let me just be real. The information that's been told has been absolutely insane. I mean, let's be real. Let me just pull up this title here. Okay. We find out that Gene Hackman passed away a whole week after his wife passed, which could very well be possible. Now, one thing that people are very surprised about is about her demise, how she passed, because she caught some sort of virus from a deer mouse, or at least from a rodent, which is very, very weird. And again, I'm kind of curious about it too. I don't know how that's even possible. From my understanding, it's, over the last 50 years, there's been over 136 cases, and a very small percentage of those people, or a percentage of those people, have actually passed because they didn't catch it in the right time and all that. But again, I just wanted to bring this up and talk to you guys about it, because still, no matter what, this is still a devastating thing. The thought that this 95-year-old actor, legendary actor, was in his house with his two dogs, because one of them passed away, locked away. He was 95 years old with his two dogs in this home and just fending for himself for a week. So imagine if you have heart disease, you have dementia, and the love of your life and also your caretaker passes away in the home. And, dementia, you can go through moments of being completely cognizant to going through, I like to call spells, right? Where you're just not fully, where the dementia kicks in, right? Now, there's a possibility that he could have been in one of his spells, or dementia has completely taken over and he is not completely of sound mind. That's a possibility, to the point where he's maybe even forgetting to feed himself, maybe not even realizing that she's even gone, forgetting that his wife is even around. Like I said, it's just an absolute terrifying thought, because, our elders, especially being alone like this, it's just a terrifying thought that our elders could possibly go through this kind of scenario. But one thing I do got a question is, why is everyone so quick to think that this is foul play, that police aren't doing their due diligence, and that, of course, they're doing some sort of cover up? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that someone is legendary and highly respected, renowned, and beloved, okay, like Gene Hackman. I can understand people saying, nah, this cannot be true. It's almost too bad to be true, too wild to be true. But I also believe in, sometimes things are stranger than fiction. Real life can be even wilder than the things that we've ever seen in movies and TV shows and read in books. Real talk. Why can't it be a situation where this 65-year-old woman, Betsy, okay, his wife, loses her life due to hantavirus? That is very possible. And then he has to fend for himself. That is possible. Now, again, because a lot of people were wondering, why wouldn't she have called 911 when she found him, possibly him being the first to pass away? Well, that doesn't seem like that was the case here. And of course, would Gene Hackman, especially with dementia, heart disease, but mainly dementia, okay, would he instantly think about, oh, I need to pick up the phone to call 911? Probably not. God knows if he even found her in that bathroom. It's a $3.8 million home. It's a pretty big home, to be honest. There's probably a bunch of other bathrooms in that home. What are the chances of him not even seeing her, or him seeing her body, but not knowing what to do, just paying no mind to it. Remember, he did have dementia. It sounds like whenever there was phone calls made to get in contact with Gene, it sounds like Betsy was the one who was in contact with his family and loved ones, his kids, because he wasn't really operating phones either. So again, just putting those things, certain things into consideration. And then, of course, they said that there was no food found in his stomach at the time of his demise. He could have starved, y'all, because he just didn't know what to do. He may not have even known what to do. Or maybe he was too busy. Maybe he did eat. Maybe he just didn't eat as much. Maybe he didn't take his meds at the right time because he did not have his beloved Betsy around to make sure he's taking the right medication at the right time daily. There's a lot of things to put in consideration here before we automatically go for, oh, foul play. You can miss me with the nonsense. This is all lies. They're just trying to cover this up. I don't see a cover up here. I see a very terrible series of events that actually happened here. And then the other thing is why would they automatically think? Why would they think that why would they come down to the thought of a mouse did it? Real talk. I mean, there's plenty of other situations that they could have used. You see what I'm saying? If they were going to, let's just say, quote unquote, cover this up, wouldn't they use some other thing? Like, this is very odd. Oh, yeah. Imagine them trying to cover up this situation, trying to come up with an idea to cover up. Okay, yeah. What we gonna do? We gonna blame Mickey Mouse. Real talk. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't to me. Like I said, sometimes life can be stranger than fiction. But let's take a look at this, okay? Just a quick recap, because of course, I get it. They were both found gone, and it was weeks, okay? Weeks, guys, before they were actually found. We now understand, and I got some paperwork here. We now understand that they believe that she lost her life on February 11th. He lost his life around the 17th or 18th. And again, it's not like it was a broken heart type of situation where he passed. It's not like he went into some sort of panic. Maybe he did at the last minute. Maybe he came to. Maybe he had he was going through a dementia spell, right? A moment of dementia where his dementia took over. Didn't realize anything until he snapped back to Gene again. And then suddenly he finds his wife on the ground. And that realization probably horrified him. Has a wild reaction. And then he starts to go for the front door, and during panic and that distress, he loses his life because his heart gives out. That's possible too. Or he was hungry. Maybe he had a heart attack. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's so many other things to put in consideration before we start leaning on the fact that there is foul play. That's at least how I feel about the situation. But like I said, let's get into some of this paper, this article really quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about, okay? So he actually passed away a week after his own wife, all right? Which, again, I'm going to tell you, that is terrifying, absolutely terrifying, okay? Gene Hackman passed away a full week after his wife, Betsy Arakawa, passed, okay? And lived in the house as her body laid in the bathroom. This is according to New Mexico officials. So the officials concluded Betsy likely passed away, like I just said a second ago, February 11th, and the cause of her demise was hantavirus, a serious and rare disease which can be fatal. And if she thought that she was literally just having like flu symptoms, that's possible. Maybe she went to, they said that they saw surveillance camera footage of her going on the 11th of February into a CVS. She could have gone in there to go get Dayquil, NyQuil, Mucinex, flu, you know what I mean? She was going through flu-like symptoms. That's what they say. It's like flu-like symptoms. And then if you do not take care of it, if you do not take care of that situation, you can get hit. You can lose your life. And I think that she went there thinking that it's just a common cold. I'll be fine, right? I'm not feeling so well. And unfortunately, she lost her life. But he lost his life 7 days. They say they believe around 7 days after her demise. Okay. This is, of course, where they said the autopsy reveals the 95-year-old had a history of cardiovascular disease along with advanced Alzheimer's. So imagine him in this home not knowing anything at all. He's just in his own world. He doesn't know or understand. Possibly, he doesn't even understand the possibilities of someone gone. The difference between life and death. That's a good possibility. And he's living in that house with the two other dogs, and they're all coexisting in this space for 7 days. And the dogs at least know well enough that if they're thirsty, they're probably drinking water out of an open toilet bowl or something of that sort, right? But Gene Hackman's by himself, wandering around in that home for 7 whole days by himself, overridden by advanced Alzheimer's. He had a history of heart attacks and high blood pressure. Although the medical investigators do not use the words heart attack, it seemed they were going in that direction. Although the medical examiner or medical investigator said she could not squarely say that that was the cause. They did say heart disease was the cause of demise, and Alzheimer was a significant contributing factor. Like I said, he could have been all by his lonesome due to this Alzheimer's, not fully understanding and computing the fact that his wife was gone. He was there by himself. He probably didn't even think about even eating, taking the proper medication that he needs to take on the daily, if not weekly. You know what I'm saying? And due to all of that, he loses his life. Like I said, if there was maybe a primary caretaker that comes in every once in a while, once a week or some sort, maybe there would have been someone there to help him out. Okay. But he was there by himself. Good God. He probably didn't even change his clothing, probably didn't even change his underwear. You see what I'm saying? Unless he was that cognizant. But if he had advanced Alzheimer's, there's a possibility of him just being there, just festering in his own funk. That's possible too. I hate those harsh realities, but you have to lay them on the table. And then when you get those harsh realities or those harsh facts, again, it starts to make sense. Again, I ask you guys again, is this a police cover-up? I think not. But let's continue. The sheriff says it appears Betsy's body was in the house for a week while Gene lived in the same house until his demise a week later. Investigators made it clear Gene was in poor health and the Alzheimer's may have created confusion, which could explain why he never called authorities. Absolutely. He may not even known. He may not even known that, like, even computed that one, she was gone on the floor, and two, that it was his wife to even begin with. Remember, Alzheimer's is a terrible, terrible, terrible disease. And again, sometimes you might get one moment where it's like, no, Gene's gone. Honey, I'm your wife. I'm Betsy, remember? I'm your wife. And you have to keep reminding them of those things, right? And then there might be those moments where you're like, there's Gene. There's the Gene I know. Hi, Gene. It's good to see you again. Those things do happen in Alzheimer's. Like I said, it's heartbreaking, guys. This is heartbreaking. Investigators say it's possible Gene did not know his wife had passed because of Alzheimer's, like I just said, right? And of course, officials have fully ruled out. They have ruled out carbon monoxide poisoning. So again, guys, for those, and I get it, I understand. It's so strange. It feels most definitely like, oh, this is a cover-up. And that's fine. If that's what you truly believe, that's what you truly believe. But there's another part of me that says, the main part of me that says, no, I think this is just a tragic series of events that actually happened. And you have a doting wife, a loving couple that lost their lives within a week of each other, all because, real talk, all because of a mouse. Ain't that something? But you got to remember this too. I know he's beloved. huge acting accolades, massive classic movies, and all that stuff. It's hard. It's hard to say goodbye to the people that we appreciate and highly revere, okay, and have maybe grown up with. I get it. But at the same time, sometimes these freak kind of situations do happen. It's wild because it's the small things. It's the devil in the details, really. It's all because of a mouse or some sort of excrement, secretions, fluids that came from a mouse that may have been ingested or inhaled airborne wise in the home or wherever Betsy was that got her sick. And then she passed away. And I know that's crazy, but we hear wilder stories like that too, where it's just one moment being in the wrong place at the wrong time that takes a person that you absolutely love and respect out. And that's kind of the situation that we're seeing here. Yes, it feels kind of like an episode or a movie, like a sequel of Final Destination or something like that, but just a long version of it. But still, this is what they found out, and I have to say, may they rest in peace. It's heartbreaking, truly is heartbreaking. But what say you guys? I know for those of y'all who still feel like it's foul play, I get it. I get it. But then if you think it's foul play or you think that it's a cover up, what do you think they're trying to cover up? And where's the foul play? That's what I'd like to know too. So comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit that like button down below. Crush that subscribe button. And may these two rest in peace. Real talk. May they both rest in peace. I'm sure their families and their loved ones and all the people that respected and loved his work, and I'm sure her work as well. I'm sure a lot of us are still reeling over this situation, and so my condolences to all you guys too. But it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.